boy. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We've got a few things going on. I'm going to probably be doing a small install on the Bmw 335i, and I'm going to show you on the wheelwood kit. We got the, what is it called, that this jewel here. It's the heim joint. I was at a loss for words. The heim joint. Show you what we were talking about, the reason we ordered this thing. If you don't know what that is, we're about to show you. All right, stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, so today we're going to do possibly the install on the stuff we did the open box with, the blow-off valve, the charge pipe, we may get to the side markers, and the air filters. Now these are actual air filters. I can't stress enough, because when I was looking at buying these things, they look just, you can tell you can't really see light through them. So they're made like an actual, like a cone style filter or a K&N type filter, the inside pieces. To me, in the pictures, I was thinking maybe it was just a cover, and it gave me the option to buy a filter, and I almost bought the filter. And I'm not to say that I don't need that filter once I get this apart, because I don't know. And if I do, I'll order it, but we'll know then. But we're going to take it off, and we're going to, see if this is all I need. If I end up needing that filter, we'll just get it. But I wasn't sure. I don't know. I've never installed it. I haven't watched any videos on it. Okay, so we're kind of backing up with my son's car. The e-brake, the purple e-brake we installed for the hydro e-brake set, the dual caliper setup for the drifting stuff. Well, we're having an issue with it bleeding down. All right, so in my opinion, I think the reservoir that came on that setup is bad, or just it's not a very good one or something. So we did opt to get the new wheelwood. Well, the wheelwood one, maybe in shipping or packaging or somewhere somebody lost the piece that goes in here to hold the line tight, so we don't have any, so we can actually mount the line to this piece. Well, and on the end, there's no way to hook this up to our actual e-brake handle. Well, heim joint. So what this does, this actually fits on the end here. And I looked up the specs to this the fittings and the bolt size and everything. So this actually goes on. It's like a turnbuckle, kind of, if that makes any sense. So you just turn it, and so as it tightens up, it gets where you need it. And so this little deal here moves like a little fish's eyeball kind of thing. All right, so you run your bolt through that, and so it's actually on the e-brake handle. The bolt's gonna be straight through it. And so your e-brake handle will be here, and so it'll have a bolt through this, and so when you pull back, that actually, just like you applying the brake on your car. So it's gonna travel in and actually apply the brake. Well, the one that was on the existing one, we took it off and it wouldn't fit this. The bolt off the existing one wouldn't fit this. And this didn't come with anything, and as far as I know, there wasn't anything in the pack that I saw. So I had to have this, we had to have that bolt, which is still on the way. The heim joint was a must, we had to have that. So that's what that was about. So kind of explain what that deal is. So it, like I say, it's got like a little fish eyeball, and it rotates and swivels. So we had to have that piece. So this way we can get our new wheelwood brake master cylinder on there. And again, we're going to see about installing some of this stuff today. I just wanted to take a moment and explain what we were doing with this setup and why. I was actually told when we bought that set, I forget even who it was, a guy said, just buy the cheap e-brake handle, but go ahead and buy a aftermarket slave cylinder. And I think you can buy them without a slave at all, so maybe it's cheaper. That would have been the best thing, and just ordered the wheelwood straight out the gate, or paid more and just bought one that had a wheelwood brake master on it. So I'm almost 100%. I'm pretty confident that the cheap version of this on the e-brake setup is what's leaking down, because the lines look great. It's wheelwood calipers, there's no leaking, there's no issues there. I just think it's this, the cheap one that's on there is the issue. So we opted to go ahead and do this, but we have to have the hardware to get it on. So that's where we're at with that. So, all right, I guess when we get to these installs, I'll get everything set up, get ready to start shooting that video, and we'll pick up from there. All right, so what we're gonna do today is, I'll give you a glimpse here. So if you'll remember, when we installed those air filters right there, if you didn't watch that video, you're not really, it's not going to be anything that you have to go back and watch that. But if you want to know what we did here, you can go back and watch that video. Well, when I installed those, there is I guess a way of bypassing what you're supposed to do. The idea is to take this whole tray off, this whole piece. It unbolts here. This whole plastic assembly comes out of there. This actually is a cable tray, I guess you would call it. That has to stay, but this has to come off. Well, if you don't take this off and you just pull the cable tray and you try to install this one, it ends up being a little more difficult, as I found out in the video I actually shot. So today, we're gonna actually try to delete this. And while we're here, we might as well go ahead and try to change the actual charge pipe, which will live down in this area. So all this, that's where if you'll see these things, those hook to that piece, which our plugs should go plug that, and our charge pipe will go here. And so we'll go ahead and try to maybe do all that while we're here. So, all right, let me gather up everything, the tools I need, and we'll just go from there. We're going to get us an actual good before shot, and so that way we'll have something to compare it to. And if possible, we may be able to back up and find the original video and add that in to where before we even pulled these out, just to see the changes. So if we can find that clip, we may show the very beginning and maybe this shot with these parts, and then the final shot, which will be all the stuff changed. So, all right, so in the back of these pieces here of this actual assembly, there's going to be 4 bolts. There's going to be one here. There's going to be one here, one there, and then one on the opposite side of that. All right, so on the cowl section, what we're looking at is at the beginning of this, you're going to find you find your bolts. There's going to be one here, one there, and then one on the other side of that one. So first thing you want to do is start taking those off. And they're just little bitty guys. Matter of fact, I'll figure out what size they are. They are 5/16 is the one that fits them. There may be a metric. It's probably I would say 8 or something like that. But they're just little bitty, tiny, and they're actual, well, like a screw, similar to. They're not like a fine tooth metric bolt or anything. So get those, 2 of those. There'll be 2 more, one on each side of this little section. And this is the breather right here. I'm pretty certain this is the actual cabin air filter assembly itself. This is the idea of what this piece actually is. And I left my impact in my rollback when we went drifting this weekend, or I would just zip these out of there and speed this process up. But yeah, I didn't get them. My impact and several tools are in that truck still. All right, so that, see, the filter is actually, that's your cabin air filter. So like I say, bolts there, take the 4 bolts out. That's your existing cabin air filters. So if you ever just want to change your cabin air filters, that's where they live and that's how you get them off. You would just then change the filter itself and then put that back as it came off. I'm not really sure what the next piece coming off here is. I do know I have to unclip this cable tray. I'll unhook that and dive a little more into figure out what else is holding this thing on. And there's a little clip in here. You push in here and you push down. And this cable tray will actually release from that section. So that will actually be loose now. So that has to stay. Okay. Thinking these things. Alright, so pop these jewels off the side. I'm going to assume, so there's just a clip on the back of it and this on the front, so you unclip the back one and you can flip it forward, which it would probably work the other way. Unclip the front one and roll it backwards. It would probably work either way. So this has been off before. There's a bolt missing right there, but I see where you unbolt it from. Again, this isn't, I didn't buy this car new or anything, so it may have some, which I know it has had some work before. And let me get back. So evidently they didn't put one of the screws back in it. So again, this is a 5/16. So far all we've used is 5/16 socket and ratchet and a flat screwdriver for the cable tray. And that gives us that. Now here, there's a little rubber, just it pulls back. And there's probably going to be another bolt or mechanism, but right here, there is a plug of some sort. And so that releases from there. No, it was this metal piece off this end. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so underneath we're finding another cable tray attached to the bottom of the actual piece here, which it looks like it's going to come out of there pretty easy. I think it's just going to unsnap out of the hangers. We'll see. Maybe. Let me fool with it for a second and see if I can figure out these clips. Okay, I think I got them figured out. It appears they just slide forward. Simple enough. So it looked like they just... Okay, so I finally got those clips off of this thing. And this thing still feels heavy. Oh, for one, this is still on there. There's a rubber boot on this side. Maybe it's just heavy. Yeah, this thing's actually pretty heavy. So that's what we're looking at. All right. So the sensor on this piece over here, right here it is. We're going to take that off of this piece so that way we can actually plug it back in. I'm not sure what it goes to. It doesn't go anywhere really. It just plugs in. So I don't know 100% what that sensor is. It may or may not need it, but I know I would rather have something plugged in as nothing. So, all right, we'll take this whole section out and pull that sensor off and plug it back in. So that sensor has just a twist style, so I literally just turned it and it pulls out. And the sensor I'm talking about is this little doodad. I'm not really even sure its purpose, but again, BMW, you probably don't want to leave it unhooked. So I'll plug it back in, and we'll slide him down in there. Out of sight, out of mind. All right, so, and you can see where the new pieces are gonna live. So they're actually just gonna sit right here, bolt in, and we don't have to put none of this back. You can see how dirty this dude is, but yeah, so that's the idea of the pieces. And again, it's a filter. I had debated on ordering that extra filter, and this has a lip on it, so. Okay, so you can see pretty much how that's gonna live. And as crazy as it sounds, where I tweaked that one a little bit, which it's not bad, but the more I look at it, it to me looks like it's smaller on the inside and gets bigger as you go out towards the exterior side of the car. And the hole looks that way. Now maybe it's just me, but the more I look at it, that's what it looks like I'm seeing, is these are possibly directional. So I do believe it does matter how they go on. So the way it looks to me, and it might just be in my own poor little mind, but it looks like this side of this one is smaller than that side, and it grows that way. And it looks like the bigger side is here. So again, this is the bigger side. It looks like it. If it's any bigger, it's not much. So keep that in mind if you get these, because nowhere have I saw that these were smaller on one end and bigger on the other as far as fitment. I've not seen that or read that or heard that or anything, but I do believe they are. Yeah, I think so. And I've not read that, I've not seen that, I've not encountered anybody that said that. Absolutely they are. Yeah, so this thing is sized, yep, 100%. It has a smaller size, or on the inside area is narrower, the outside is bigger area. And at no time had I noticed that or read anything about it when I was purchasing these things. But, so yeah, that does away with all this. And I guess this stuff you're supposed to kind of fish it back through here somewhere. I'll deal with that in a little bit. But so that opens all that up. And so when you do this filter install, you're supposed to take all that off. And it's a lot different if you saw that video when we did the filter install. So now I can get all the way back, you know, as far as I want to go with that thing. So that's the cabin air filter delete for that tray. See how it's got the big bulky air intake. It's got this whole deal here. Well, what will end up happening, we'll end up with these down in there, and we'll do away with this big contraption. So you can kind of make up your own mind if that's something you want to do. I like it. I think I want to go with it. And what I would suggest, in my opinion, this is just me, if you're going to do the cone air filter and that delete and maybe the charge pipe at the same time, which is under those, do them all at one time. So that's just my opinion. All that happens at one time. Take everything off once, put everything on once. So to do the charge pipe, I have to take those back off. So you see what I'm saying? So you should take that box off, because we'll have to pull this piece again to make sure I got plenty of room, pull the lines and stuff loose, pull both filters out, and take that charge pipe that's under there, take it off, and we'd have had to take that top piece off where the filter delete kit is, and we would have to do that, I think, to do all of this. So I think it would be best to have all those parts in hand and do it all at one time, in my opinion. I'm learning, but again, it's a learning experience. New car, I've never worked on one of these and never had any experience on this car. So everything I'm doing is learning for me. So, but that's the delete kit for now up here. That does away with that whole section. All right, so I pulled the cable trays off, and I think once I get some of this changed around, I can go under and completely just hide all of this maybe. Once I change this filter and pull it back off and stuff, I'll be able to go a different route. And so you completely can open up that much area. I mean, literally, you gain that much area of the car, plus the cable tray was here, so you were yay far. And so you go from that to that with this delete kit. In my opinion, this delete kit, absolutely worth the money if you're wanting to try to open your engine bay up. And you have to take that stuff off anyway to really get at this rear filter. I did it how people are showing, you know, without taking that off. It works. It's a pain, but it's absolutely night and day difference to get it now with that stuff off. That's the delete kit.